fundamental truth to our nature. Man must explore. And this is exploration at its greatest.
Prosim?
Hello, everyone. My name is Simon Simčič from Src, and today I'll be talking about how security solutions work together and what is needed beyond technology. Just let me see. So first, let's have an overview of what different things mean. And one of the most important things today is to understand the different tools are required to ensure complete information security, because they are becoming highly specialized and more diverse. On the other hand, the threats that they are addressing are also more sophisticated every day. And this also, but because we have an explosion of data and events, that quantity is ever increasing and is quite large. So it's you need to cover all of these things to be fully functional and able to achieve complete coverage. And where we look at the existing security mechanisms, we must protect resources both within or outside company premises. This means beyond just the endpoints, we also need to cover our cloud applications that are deployed in the cloud. And we must also harden services regardless if they are on-premise or cloud-based. Because in today's time, when practically all of our employees work outside the premises, we must also find mechanisms that secure the endpoints that the clients use, and that the company data is protected, as well as on premises and on the cloud. And once we have some good security mechanisms in place, we can go about establishing visibility through all of these devices, and all utilize security mechanisms detect some sort of activity or respond to some queries or requests by clients, and they, let's say, offer some insight into what is happening around the network, or either around the network or through some requests or audit logs within the application. And we have optimal visibility whenever we have all visibility over all the elements that are used. And we have you usually do that by aggregating events from all of these solutions that are deployed. Let's say multi-factor authentication in the cloud, EDR solution on the endpoint, the next generation firewall, authentication services. We usually aggregate these in a SIEM solution. And some sort of network traffic analysis tool that also gives us visibility over, let's say, the softer part of the network, the one that is not reporting itself through a firewall. So if we go about using a SIEM, the SIEM of choice for our SOC deployment is the ArcSight Enterprise Security Manager, which usually it doesn't always happen, but we should aggregate all relevant events from an environment, because events from an environment are things that security devices report as something of value. And the most relevant sources here are firewalls and IPSs, critical servers, especially OS on, let's say, the Windows servers, the Linux servers, the public exposed systems that, let's say, see how our footprint on the public internet is, and let's say some network traffic analysis tools that give us some visibility over what is happening within the network, what are the rare anomalies that are occurring to help us increase security on our network. And if we go about, if you look into the use cases, what are the most, let's say, vital use cases for a SIM? They are that you should probably monitor the IPSs for critical alerts, especially the ones that come from within your network. Let's say we would monitor the authentication failures on several, let's say, Windows systems, critical servers or application servers. Then one of the most critical things you could monitor is the privileged user monitoring, to see how the users that have a high level of access within your network use that access. How are their accounts used? Are they used maybe as a service or from outside? Are they getting locked? Are they getting brute forced? How are those privileges assigned? That should be one of the key topics that a SIM should cover, because it's very easy to miss, but not that hard to monitor. And one of the last but not least is some anomalies that are reported from the traffic analysis systems, which is also usually interesting to find, to discover what the other solutions missed. So now I have a special notice from the organizers to share with you this letter for this presentation. And this is the letter B, just to make sure that everybody is listening. So if we measure today's security solutions for monitoring and weigh what does, I heard some customers say that the SIM is no longer needed, but I would have to disagree with him on that, because the value of monitoring audit events from security devices is quite high, and you can just plug in something else that will look at the network, look at the users, and just say, okay, this is it, this is that. But you also need to, let's say, aggregate, consolidate, and check into what is happening through all the security devices on the network, because no other tool does that as a SIM. And where ArcSight as a SIM especially excels is that it has a very broad coverage of sources that to normalize and to put in a, let's say, a data model. Which is unique for ArcSight is that it can ingest over 500 types of devices that can be used with this solution and can be integrated to provide value to monitoring. It also supports the Windows event forwarding, which is a very, very easy way to collect events from hundreds of Windows servers at a time. And it's very easy to integrate. So, because I've heard that not all solutions use this, but this is one of the easiest ways to achieve total visibility over a Windows environment. And it's also very easy with ArcSight to integrate sources that are not supported out of the box, because sometimes sources are supported, but due to the regional settings, like timestamps, they don't really match. So you have to have an easy way of fixing that. And ArcSight can now do that, because they have publicly disclosed all of their parsers, which can then be tweaked to your liking. and you can also tweak it, maybe use a different wheel or something like that. So it's very easy to do, to integrate all of the events that come from your environment. And what is beyond technology, you should also explore where are the blind spots in your environment, because sometimes it's easy to miss, because what you don't see doesn't actually hurt you, but it does come back with a vengeance sometime later. One of the, let's say, drawbacks of a SIM is that it's very dependent either upon firewalls or other devices that are providing events to it. And sometimes, especially in a non-segmented environment, it's easy not to see some stuff. So it's so what we do today to cover this is use network traffic analysis tools that also monitor within segments. So you can detect things like lateral movement, detect things like, maybe if it has a machine learning capability, it can also detect very rare domains for a particular environment, and it's very easy, and it's a very good indicator of anomalies. And then what you also need is some sort of visibility on the endpoints, because you don't have people in the office and using the same internet link and you can see what they're doing, what their machines are doing. Are they connecting to any malware domains? Are they connecting to some sort of malicious sites? But it's a good thing to have, especially into these times, as none of your users are in the office. So you can have a much better visibility over the endpoints and how they are used. So this is one of the first things that we did during the first lockdown. We had to deploy an EDR solution onto all of our client endpoints that are not in the office. And the last thing that is very, very easy to miss is also, if you're too confident that your audit trail and the system is configured correctly, this is crucial to getting good information, is that good information is generated in the first place. And you should ultimately review the audit trails that you have implemented to find the blind spots and not miss anything. And this is also crucial, is understanding how do attackers get into your networks. Methods are numerous, but one of the best things that happened was the Mitre organization published a matrix of known attacks, and which you can use to, let's say, map out your defenses to see what you have covered, what you do not have covered, to see where you can monitor this and how can you achieve monitoring to achieve coverage. And once you have that, you can understand what to focus on. And you can also check the mapping of the Mitre framework to the Micro Focus product stack, because you have you just have the, let's say, the techniques on the top, and then you have the tactics from below that. And let's say we check the exploit public facing application attack, and then you see which let's say solution helps you gain visibility over that, and which package you have to use within that solution to get it covered. And this is also very helpful for that. So, and what we have as the last but not least is how do we put it all together, is because in SRC we help customers achieve information security through the use of our MDR solution, SRC Secure, or SRC SOC, along with our partners from Denmark, the CSIS group, which help us with advanced specialized knowledge in the field of digital forensics. So, but if we go from left to right, we see that first we have the sensors that generate data for the on-premise SIM. The data is then normalized and fed into the analytics engine, through which we gain probable security incidents, which then need to be checked in the SOC and are then reviewed either as a false positive, a true positive, or a false negative. So basically, it's something that either we did not discover, we discovered and it was not an incident, and something that we discovered and was an incident. And along with that, we have sort of a loop, a feedback loop, through which we suppress the alerts and fix them to not report, or suggest to the customer that it needs to implement something else in order to have additional coverage on this and achieve a much better understanding of their environment. But the most important is when we discover something and it's really truly something bad, then we have the option of leaning onto our partners, which have a wealth of experience in the field of digital forensics and incident handling and incident response to assist us with difficult cases. And they have the ability to, let's say, perform digital forensics and to use their threat intelligence in order to discover what happened within an environment and what was the main let's say the vector of attack, how something happened, how it should be fixed, and we can go back to the customer, and if it's an incident, we can help them, we can help the customer recover after such an incident. So that was it for me. Let me just check if you have any questions. Okay, so I don't see any questions from any of you, so I'd like to thank you for your time, and goodbye.